So yet another important phenomena in the case of metals such as mild steel and in the case of single crystals of aluminum and titanium is known as yield point phenomena. In this particular phenomena, we see that the yield point is not fixed as we have seen in the case of previously ductile materials. So let us see what actually happens and what is the mechanism by which it takes place. So if we see the stress strain curve, and if we go at the keep on increasing the stress in the elastic region, then we reach, as soon as we reach the yield point, so what happens, there is a sudden drop in the stress. So actually what is happening behind this mechanism is that as soon as the upper yield point is reached, so the places such as stress concentration points such as fillets and other places, the deformation starts happening. So it is not a uniform deformation homogeneously happening throughout the metal, but it's a heterogeneous deformation, and there are certain regions in which those deformation starts are called bands, or in other words Luder bands. Also they are also called Hartmann lines and stretcher strains, and they are typically found 45 degree at 45 degree angle to the tensile axis. So you can see there are 45 degree angle. As soon as this band forms, there is a drop in the stress, then again the stress level increases to continue the deformation, and again the stress drops. So the second this upper zigzag line corresponds to formation of another Luder band. So Luder band form at various places in the material, and they keep on growing with the formation of each stepwise manner, and this particular way the deformation Luder bands completely occupy the material, and the deformation which prolongs in this particular way is called yield point elongation. So it is approximately 10% in the case of mild steel. And the reason why this behavior is shown by such materials is that because we know that the solubility of like in case of mild steel, solubility of carbon in ferrite, that is the room temperature phase, is very, very low. So to minimize the energy of the materials, the solute elements such as interstitial solute elements such as carbon and nitrogen tend to segregate near the dislocations. So suppose there is a H dislocation line, the solute atoms will prefer to occupy that extra half plane, those missing positions, and in that process they will pin the dislocation, that is they will minimize the energy of the dislocation, and they will make it more difficult for the dislocation to further propagate in the material. So because of this, there are certain regions which the stress concentration is very high. It is easy for the dislocations to propagate, and the deformation starts in those regions, and it then finally propagates throughout the material. So this is a typical phenomena observed in such materials, and it's also called Pye-Wurth effect, and it is very important because during the finishing or the mechanical working of the steels, if this phenomena is shown during that region, we can see on the surface improper finish, and there's also called orange peel effect. So kind of peeled kind of surface is visible, and it is very important to minimize this particular phenomena to have a better finished product. And one of the ways this is done is by immediately dropping the stress after giving it a small reduction at the end of the finishing process. So how that helps is that if the material has undergone yield point phenomena and it has strained beyond that region, so if the stresses are removed and the material is immediately stressed after that without giving it time, so the dislocations have already overcome the impediment caused by the solute atoms, and the yield point phenomena is almost invisible, and in fact the yield stress increases. And so one of the reasons is that fundamentally is that you want to avoid giving the solute atoms time to again start pinning the dislocation, so that kind of effect is utilized, and yield point phenomena effect is minimized.